Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now, from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy, you're 13 and going strong, huh?
I am. Don't I look great for 13?
What's that?
You said I'm 13. I think I look pretty good for 13.
Oh, yeah, you look great for 13. Each autumn, we seem to get, there's so many events in Moore County that come up, and September always seems to be a pivot month where we're getting into a lot of the activities that are coming up really right through the holidays. This September, we are actually very fortunate to be able to speak about as everyone knows, it's an election year. I think primaries, the last set of primaries across the country were just concluded. Everyone is gearing up for Election Day. And we're being joined today by the League of Women's Voters of Moore County. And they have a lot of information to give us to simplify, I think, the voting process. It seems like every year, not here, but just across the country, you read about logistics, voting irregularities, confusion at the polls, when to get there, when not to get there. And with all the information that is thrown at us every day about many different things, a lot of people can go, oh my, one more thing I have to digest. But I think we can do it in a way that's very simple today. I'm being joined by 3 guests, all volunteers. To my left, Shirlee Sanderson. To her left, Marcey Katzman. And to her left, Holly Powell. You guys have all been volunteering with the League for how long now, Shirlee?
This is my 5th year.
Your 5th year.
5th year.
And 3rd.
Well, 3rd in Moore County, but before that, I was a volunteer in Carteret County for about 4 years.
Okay, so you moved here from another county in the state.
I did.
None of you are Moore County natives, but you call Moore County home right now. Tell me a little bit, because there's a lot of information to unwrap, a little bit about the history of the League of Women Voters, because I think a lot of laymen think it's a great organization that provides great information for all people, and it's not a partisan organization. It's not political. It's just informational. Is that accurate?
Yes.
It's definitely not it is a non-partisan organization. And also, first of all, thank you so much for having us as your guests today.
It's my pleasure. This is good. We could put this in now so people don't have an excuse, because voter turnout every year seems to me that it's disappointing how many people vote or don't vote. And so you're trying to educate them about the scheduling and hopefully to get voter turnout up.
Yes, and we're going to start with just a brief history of the organization.
Yes.
I didn't know a lot about it when I first joined. It's been in existence since 1920. Carrie Chapman Catt actually formed the organization the same year as the 19th Amendment was ratified.
Right.
And the 19th Amendment said that you can't be kept from voting on account of your sex. So many women started voting that year. Indigenous and minority women had to wait several years longer than that to cross barriers to get to vote. But It is an organization that was developed for women who were interested in fair and free elections.
Right.
And it is, and always has been, nonpartisan. And it was very important to the founders of the organization to have it be nonpartisan, so it didn't get mired in the political issues of the day.
Which is what we'll keep hammering out, that this is not partisan.
Correct.
Okay. What was the inspiration for you in your life to want to affiliate and associate with the League?
I have always voted since I've been old enough to vote. It was very important to me to vote. But I've never been particularly politically active. And so when I was getting ready to retire, I knew that I would be playing a lot of golf because we lived in a golfing community and I enjoy it.
Right.
But I also knew that I wanted to do something to join an organization that was involved in the community. And so I started researching, and when I went online and looked at the League of Women Voters, the first thing I noticed was at the top it says, "Empowering Voters, Defending Democracy."
Right.
And I thought, wow, maybe you get a cape when you join. It's like a
Right.
superhero organization or something. So
Right.
I thought, what a noble
Yeah.
charge for an organization to have.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah. What you retired from? What did you do?
I worked all of my career in human resources and benefits management, and I retired from Sunoco Packaging in South Carolina.
Okay. And you've been with the League for 5 years.
Yes.
Okay. Marcey, what about you?
Well, I hope this doesn't sound too hokey, but
We like Hokie.
after I got married, I moved to Canada. I lived on the border between Michigan and Windsor, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
He was Canadian, so I got married and moved to Canada.
And you're from Michigan?
And I'm from Michigan. I grew up in Michigan. So
Okay.
I had voted in one election, 1964, and then I moved to Canada in 1966. So this is the hokey part. Once I moved, even though it was only across a river and a few
Right.
miles, but
Right.
it was a different country. And
Right.
while it was a great country, it's a great country.
Right.
I felt this patriotism toward the U.S. and something that all of a sudden I became very proud of, something that I had always taken for granted. I became very proud of.
Right.
So I always made sure I voted, even though it was absentee, and I voted absentee in Michigan.
Right.
And when we decided to move here full time, I wondered, is there, and I had heard of the League of Women Voters, but didn't really know anything about it. And I thought, is there some way to get involved? And we have an annual luncheon called the Lunch with Legends, where we honor legends, women, probably mostly from, were instrumental in forming the League or instrumental in working for, women's rights.
Yeah.
And I went to one, and I thought, wow, this sounds like a great organization. And like Shirley, I did a little research, and I thought this could be my way to give back. Because not only do they work to inform voters and to encourage voting,
Right.
but they work in advocacy in a nonpartisan way.
Right.
So for all of those reasons, I thought this would really be a way that this is something that could inspire me.
And isn't it a misconception that the League of Women Voters is set up just for the benefit of women?
Yes, absolutely. Men can join. We do have.
We want men,
We have
right?
men. Yes, absolutely.
But people think, oh, it's a women's organization.
Yeah.
It's a citizens organization.
That's correct.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Holly.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great, and thanks so much again for having
Oh,
us.
it's my privilege. I'm mostly interested in the inspiration, what it is that what motivates people to get affiliated with certain organizations, and what was yours?
So I was living in Carteret County, and I actually had worked at Cherry Point for the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And I went to a voter forum that was sponsored by the League of Women Voters.
Right.
I had been aware that the League existed, but I didn't know that much about them. I knew they registered voters or helped in voter registration and that they put on the forums, but I didn't know a whole lot else about them. And so once I had attended some of the forums, I kind of did the same thing that Marcey and Shirley have talked about, and I researched the League online, and I discovered that they had a lot of nonpartisan advocacy positions that really spoke to me. And they were things that I wanted to work on, like voter education that we're going to talk a lot about today.
Yeah.
And so I joined in Carteret County, and then I moved here to Moore County 3 years ago, and I looked up the local league, and I was just thrilled to discover we have a large and vibrant league here. And it's just been wonderful working with them for the last 3 years.
You know, from a layman's point of view, which I am gladly willing to admit I am, I find voting to be very confusing. Every state has different regulations, different absentee rules and regs. and it gives me a headache. And people get confused. Well, I thought I could vote absentee by such and such a date. Information seems to be, it just seems, in the last couple of elections, nationally and locally, have just seemed confusing to me. Is that not a criticism, but it's just an issue that you have to combat, I guess, every day, right?
It is, and that's really the purpose of Vote 411, is helping cut through that confusion. And basically, I took on the lead role in Moore County for Vote 411 because I just think it's a wonderful system.
Right.
Consider it's an award-winning capstone of the league, and it's all about our efforts to enable citizens to vote and to get that information that you just referred to. Sometimes it is confusing.
Yeah.
And even if you go and you look at the Board of Elections website at the state level or the county level, it can be confusing finding the exact information that you're looking for. So is this the one you want me to tell you about? 411?
I want my life to be simpler and less complicated.
We're going to make it really simple.
Good, because I was getting very tense. Okay.
So Vote 411, it's a website. So it's vote411.org, but all you have to enter in your search is Vote 411, and it'll come right up.
Okay.
And it's a powerful tool because it is a one-stop shop for all election information. As we keep saying, it's entirely nonpartisan. Everything the league does is nonpartisan. Vote 411 is free to voters and to candidates, so nobody pays for it. It's funded by the Education Fund of the League of Women Voters. It's just facts.
Okay.
And it's information that the candidates themselves enter into the system about their campaign and about their positions. We do formulate questions for the candidates in each race, and each candidate gets asked the same questions.
Okay.
They write their answers if they choose to participate.
Okay. So you're also providing information about all candidates regardless of political persuasion.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So at 411.org, which you can view either in English or Spanish. There is a drop down to select Spanish if you want to look at voting information in Spanish.
Okay.
But at the website, there are links to register to vote, or if you're already registered, you can verify your registration, because some people get concerned. Am I registered? Am I registered in Moore County? Is my registration current? Mm-hmm. You can see what's on your own ballot. And I'll explain how to do that in just a minute. You can get to the link to request an absentee ballot. You can find out where and when you can vote at an early one-stop location.
Right.
Where or when you can vote on Election Day.
Right.
And then you can also see any candidate forums that are being hosted by the league. And we're going to talk about this in a little while.
Yeah, we are. We want to talk about the candidate forums and the voter registration, and we'll do that in the next set. Just one quick question before we break. Why is voter turnout historically always so low?
I think there are a lot of reasons. People, I've heard my own friends over the years say, well, my vote doesn't really count.
Right.
I don't really know who to vote for.
Right.
I don't know who to believe.
Right.
People have a lot of reasons for not voting. And I would say that many times people say, well, I only vote every 4 years in the presidential election.
Right.
When really the most important races are the local ones.
That's
and we
right.
have two very important ones in Moore County this season.
Which ones are we talking about?
The Board of Commissioners
Right.
and the school board.
Yes. Okay. Marcey, why do you think registration, voter turnout is low? Yeah.
Well, I would agree with Shirley, definitely.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
people do believe that their vote doesn't count that much. I think maybe the last couple of elections hopefully has challenged that notion, because we saw that, if you go kind of county by county, a few votes can make a difference.
Oh, my gosh.
We're trying to,
Yes.
that's another way we're trying to educate voters, to make them realize
Yes.
that every vote really does count.
Yes.
I can give you an example of that.
I'm all ears.
I'm also a poll worker. I've been a poll worker for at least 13 years.
Okay.
And in Carteret County, we actually had local races where the votes were tied
That's crazy.
after recount.
That's
after
crazy.
And you know how the winning candidate is decided when there's a tie?
Not flipping a coin.
Yes.
Oh, come on. Oh, come
In
on.
Carteret County, it was flipping a coin.
What?
Yes. So every vote counts.
I was trying to.
I know you were being flippant.
Excuse the pun.
Yes, to use a
flip.
pun.
That's crazy. Even
Yes.
I mean, in football, you have sudden death.
There's no sudden death in voting.
Let's come back in the second set. We're speaking with the League of Women Voters of Moore County about the upcoming elections and the one-stop shop site, vote411.org. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our second set of All Things Moore County. We're speaking with the League of Women Voters of Moore County, the entire show, with the upcoming elections and trying to get out some good information to people. So here's what I got from the first set. Vote411.org. That's it. That's where you go. No questions asked. That's the one-stop shopping portal.
You got it, Bill.
Is that it?
You got it.
Show's over. We're done.
But people might want to know a little bit about
Yes.
what they can do when they actually log on.
Yes.
So you can log on by going to the website vote411.org, or you can scan the QR code with your phone, and you can go to the mobile website, or you can go on your phone just by entering the website address. When you go in, there will be a screen where you can enter your address. So you enter your residential address, and then you will be viewing the races and the candidates that will appear on your ballot when you vote.
Whether you're registered or not.
Whether you're registered or not, it will show, because it pulls it up by your address.
So
Yes.
I go in and I enter my name and my address.
No, not your name, just your address.
Okay, just the address. Okay.
Yes, just your address.
All right.
And then it's going to pull up the races that are going to be on your ballot.
Gotcha.
And you're going to be able to link to where you can vote and when you can vote as well. So you're going to see those candidates, and when you click on them, when you click on each race that appears on your ballot, you'll see all the candidates that are on your ballot in that race, and you will see whatever they've entered in the system about their candidacy.
So that would be a lot more effective than just showing up on election day and looking at all the people outside with their banners and looking at the names, none of which you're aware of.
Yes.
And then what do you make a decision? Do I just vote party line? Do I like the name? Oh, I don't know. I'll do some. You want people to be informed before they walk in.
As someone who's worked as a poll worker, I can't tell you how distraught I've been at how many voters come in, get their ballot, look at it, and say, I don't know any of these people.
Right.
I don't know who to vote for.
Exactly. But
Well,
they can
it's
find
too
that
late if you do that on election day.
Right.
Once you've got that ballot in your hand, that's your ballot. That's your ballot. So you really need to get educated about the candidates before you go to vote. We have asked all the candidates to participate multiple times. They've gotten email invitations, they've gotten phone calls, they've gotten texts, they've gotten Facebook messages. So if you see that there's a candidate there that it says they have not responded, it's not because we haven't invited them.
Right.
It's because they've chosen not to.
So you're trying to go forward with equality for all candidates, just to be fair to all parties, to get as much information so the voters can make an informed decision.
And the system also has a link that talks to you about what to do if your candidate didn't respond, how you can encourage them to respond.
Okay.
Because if you have a favorite candidate and there's no information about them other than what race they're running in, you might want to encourage them to fill out their information in Vote 411.
Okay.
We did make Moore County live and vote 411. So it's available now. Now, not all counties in North Carolina are live yet because the Board of Elections for the state did not actually finalize candidate lists until September 14th.
Really?
Yes, because there were a lot of issues with a lot of different races that were going on. So if your viewers or listeners want to go and use Vote 411, it will be live now. And it will show them the races and their candidates and all the information that the candidates have put in. And I just want to mention that our league in Moore County is also covering Anson, Hope, Richmond, and Robeson counties for this election, and that's because the New Rural Project, which is also a nonpartisan group, is distributing Vote 411 information in those counties. And so we said we would cover them. And we're trying to get those candidates to respond as well.
Okay. And Shirley, you said in the first set, the local elections, not the presidential year elections, are at the local level are the most important. And this year, the elections that you're talking about were the county commissioners and the Board of Education?
That's correct. Those two races really are more impactful to us here in Moore County than someone who's in Washington, D.C.
Correct.
The Board of Commissioners is making decisions about how local tax dollars are spent, organizations that are funded by the county. Those are very important. If you have kids in school, the school board is an important race.
Just a few weeks ago, we had an attorney he was a farmer, and another farmer on, and they were talking because they were fighting some residential growth in the northern part of Carthage, successfully, by the way, but through the county commissioners. So the makeup of that county commissioner committee is important because we're in an area where there's a lot of growth, children, schools, and then what type of growth do we want? There's a lot of information that you can provide to the citizens to make these informed decisions, because we have preservationists, we have people who growth at any cost. I mean, you take a faction and you've got like 3 sides to every story. So getting the information out is the most important thing to do, and that's what you're here to do. You're like the police.
The information police.
Huh?
Yes,
the information police. Okay, so take the county commissioners and the Board of Education. You give each candidate the opportunity to answer specific questions to put on the Vote 411, and they do. And then you have forums that you have set up. Can you talk a little bit about the forums?
Yeah.
Okay, Marcey.
And let me just underscore the importance of information. And I think the 3 of us are good examples because none of us are from Moore County.
Right.
Not quite as exaggerated as coming from a different country, but none of us are from Moore County.
Right.
So people need that information, or they aren't informed because they don't have it just having lived here. So that is a service that we really think is so important here to provide.
You bring up a good point, because the demographics are changing so much. There are people moving into Moore County by droves who weren't here 2 years ago.
Right. So they need to know who the people are that are running, who the candidates are, why those elections are so important.
Right.
We all know who's running for senator, but we don't all know who's running for Board of Education. And if we have children, the person running for Board of Education is to determine the books that our children read, or what kind of school lunch program they have if it's needed. So
makes sense.
So anyway, but you asked about the forums, and let me talk a little bit about that. So we are sponsoring 2 in partnership with the NAACP.
Okay.
So both nonpartisan organizations, one for the Board of Education and one for the county commissioners. We're very pleased that all of the candidates have agreed to participate.
Wonderful.
So and the purpose is to give the people that attend a chance to not only hear what candidates have to say when you're just talking to them, but in as compared to the other candidates. So this is a good opportunity for them to share those views and their visions.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just give you the the facts. The Board of Education forum is going to be October 13th
Okay.
at the Village Hall.
Okay.
And that is Pinehurst Village Hall, which is on 395 Magnolia in Pinehurst. And the forum for the county commissioners is Tuesday, October 18th, also at Pinehurst Village Hall at 7:30.
But all this information can be found at Vote 411.
Absolutely,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Okay.
And just to give you a little kind of overview of what the forum, how the forum will unfold, each candidate is given a chance to have opening remarks. And then they're asked questions. 2 have been submitted to them prior, so they know what those are. And everything is timed, and we have timekeepers that hold up little flags, so everybody has equal, speaks for an equal amount of time. So they have. Then there are questions that have been prepared by the league and by the NAACP, and also we've asked for some student questions from high school students. And then we take audience questions. Now, all of those, when they're submitted, they don't go from the person asking them to the candidate. We have people that are, making sure that they're appropriate questions, that they're not duplicated. So, so every candidate has a good opportunity to really express their views and their visions. Mm-hmm. And our audience has a good opportunity to understand what they are. Mm-hmm. It will also, both forums will be live streamed.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you can't make it to the actual event, you will be able to see it later.
Okay. Again, all of this will be on vote411.org.
All of it's on vote411.
I'm only going to say that 500 times
Right.
today.
No,
and
we
it's
appreciate
there right
that.
now.
And it's there right now. Okay. Also, you're going to be educating people on the registration process?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there are 2 ways we educate. One is through forums,
Right.
which is the candidates,
Right.
and one is through registration, which
Okay.
is making sure you're registered, where to vote, when to vote, how to vote. In fact, I think I might have. Let me give you this. We know of 2 registration sessions that have been scheduled. One for October 22nd, at the Senior Enrichment Center, and one at the Coalition in Southern Pines on September 27th, from 10 to 4. I'm sorry.
That's
Let me
okay.
make sure I have it straight. So on September 22nd, we have a registration seminar at the Senior Enrichment Center, and on September 27th, from 10 to 4, at the Coalition in Southern Pines.
Okay, you cannot confuse me today, and I'll tell you why. No matter what you say, I know if I just go to vote 411, I will see everything you just said, right?
Yes.
No multiple choice
You
tests.
catch on really quickly.
I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm done. I know where to go. People should just go there, right?
That's right. That will give them all the information that they need.
Well, and also there will be a voter registration at Sandhills Community College.
Okay.
The date I don't think has been determined yet, but definitely there will be a presence there.
Okay.
But we should make it clear, you can register anytime up between now and October 14th, I think is the cutoff, unless you want to vote at one stop. So you can go to the Board of Elections to register, you can pick up a registration form and take it there and drop it off, or you can mail it to them.
Okay. Dorothy is looking at me. We have to cut to the next set. We ran over time. We're going to come back. In the third set, we're speaking with the League of Women Voters of Moore County, and we're talking all about the informational portal vote411.org to get all your questions answered, whether you're new residents, unregistered, registered, you want to know about candidate forums or information. It's all going to be there. We'll be right back. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to our final set. We're talking with the League of Women Voters of Moore County. With the elections coming up, there is a great informational portal out there, vote411.org. So much of what you're all talking about, the information is embedded in this site, and people can start now It's never too early to prepare to vote and to hopefully make it seamless and drama-free. That word drama hasn't come up yet today, but only time I'll say it. Prior to the elections, there's an event coming up on September 27th, which is a Carter Center initiated program, which is going to be in Southern Pines, Shirley?
That's correct. The event will be held at Sandhills Community College, Bradshaw Auditorium.
Right.
Will begin at 6:30, and it's a town hall style meeting. It's the North Carolina Trusted Elections Tour. And Jennifer Roberts, who is the former mayor of Charlotte, along with Robert Orr, who is a former Supreme Court Justice in North Carolina, who's a Republican, she's a Democrat, are coming together to work with a panel of local community leaders to address issues about the election. There are a lot of people who are concerned about fraud, or is my vote counted? How is it kept secure? How do I know my vote counts? This will be an opportunity for people to ask questions, to hear from cybersecurity expert, people who are involved in the election process, to answer their questions and to help reassure them that their vote does count, it's safe, and it's secure.
Right. That's been an issue the last couple of years, and it's a shame because it's sort of gained a lot of steam. And sometimes if you say it, people think it's always true, and it isn't always true. But you're going to try to cut through the mustard and reassure people so that they can look at this election with a clearer mind and vote with confidence.
Yes, and there were actually 4 states. North Carolina is one of the 4.
Yeah.
Arizona, Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina were identified as having possible disruptions to the election process. And so they're doing everything they can on this tour, and it's going through the entire state of North Carolina. There are 15 stops. Southern Pines is one of them. And to try and make sure that people get their questions answered and feel more reassured about the whole process.
Are the people who are going to speak here at the Sandhills Community College also going to be speaking in different states, or just in North Carolina?
No, these will be local
Okay.
to Moore County.
Okay. You also have a voter. Oh, that's the 27th of September, and what time is that going to be?
6:30, Sandhills Community College, Bradshaw Auditorium.
Okay, and that
It's free to the public. You don't need to register. There's no charge. We encourage everyone to attend. It's a huge auditorium, so plenty of room.
Again, that's going to be on vote411.org, that information?
That one is
That
not.
would not be.
because
Okay.
We're not. Well,
We're hosting, but we're not,
So
we're
how
not
do
a
you-
sponsoring.
sponsor.
So how do you broadcast that information? How do you get that out there?
Well, there has been a press release.
Okay.
And we have information on our website,
Okay.
as well as our Facebook site. We've shared it with community organizations,
Okay.
with the Republican Party, the Democratic Party.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay. It's important. You were mentioning earlier in the show, Marcey, I think you were, about the QR code.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first saw that, I thought of a restaurant menu. That you sit at the table these days, and they don't give you a menu. They just give you this. You scan, and you read the menu on the phone. Is that the same way you're using that to access information to vote 411?
Only easier.
Really?
And I only say that because I don't know about you or your listeners, but I've had so much trouble trying to get menus by accessing the QR code, or even going into museums. Sometimes you need to scan a QR code to
That's
like your
right.
ticket, and sometimes that's a challenge.
Yep.
It was not a challenge to access Vote 411. I mean, I just put my phone over the QR code, and it came up.
So
So even if I could do it,
you turn
your
your
listeners
camera.
can
You
all
turn
do
your
it. Yes,
camera
yeah,
on,
Yeah,
and you put it in front of the code,
right.
and it just pops right up.
It pops right up.
So you
Yeah.
can. Okay. So Vote 411 is also a mobile app.
It is.
In a way.
Yes.
Okay. Important to know. you guys are a nonprofit. You do a fundraiser each year, but you are relying on private donations.
We're self-funded.
You're self-funded.
Yeah, we pay to be members. We pay a membership fee.
Okay.
Part of which goes to the state league and part of which goes to the national league. So
Okay.
we're funding locally, state, and national.
Okay.
And then we also take donations.
Okay.
And there is a donation link on Vote 411 if you want to donate to the League of Women Voters Education Fund.
As well as our website.
Yeah, as well, which is lwvmc.org. And if you happen to pick up one of our bookmarks, which
Yeah.
will be all over the county soon.
Yeah, they're
there's
very
a code.
attractive.
There's
Right.
a code to our website, a QR code, and a code to Vote 411.
Oh, that's great. So people don't have an excuse not to be informed.
Right.
Right.
Should we talk about election dates?
I would love to.
Okay. So I just want to make sure everybody knows here are your opportunities to vote, because first you're going to get educated, and we've told you about resources for getting educated about how you're going to vote, but you've got to vote. That's the important part.
Mm-hmm.
We want people to vote. So right now you can request an absentee ballot. They started going out last Friday on September 9th. So there's lots of ways to request them. The information about that is on vote411.org, or you can also go to the county website for the Board of Elections to request one. One Stop Early Voting runs from Thursday, October 20th through Saturday, November 5th. Everyone needs to know One Stop Early Voting means that you can go and register if you're not already registered and vote all in one visit. If you're registered, you can vote. So you have this opportunity. If you live in Moore County, you can early vote at one of two locations, Moore County Ag Center in Carthage or the Pinehurst Community Center on Rattlesnake Trail in Pinehurst.
Right.
The voting dates include Saturday, October 29th and Sunday, October 23rd. The hours are Mondays through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., Sunday, 1 to 4. All that information is on Vote 411. And then on Election Day, you can vote at your precinct. Election Day is November 8th, and the precincts are open 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., and if there's a line, they stay open till everyone in line at 7:30 votes.
Okay. And then just to reiterate, the candidate forums that you're going to be holding, will there be a synopsis of those forums on the vote411.org site? If
Not a
people-
synopsis, but there's information about when and where they are.
Okay, but the questions that they answered for the league will be posted on the site? Information? No.
Not Vote 411.
Okay,
Will
so-
we have something?
Well, I believe that we're using a
some of
couple
the
of the
questions.
questions from Vote 411
For the
for the
forum.
candidate
Okay.
forum.
Okay.
Okay.
So
But
there'll
there
be
will
some-
be additional questions, like Holly or Marcey mentioned, that in AACP and the league are putting together questions. Then there's a committee that kind of vets them, because we want to make sure that we're being fair to all of the candidates. There aren't any gotcha questions, and that everyone will be, answering the same questions.
Isn't it a shame that you almost have to be defensive a little bit in the way you're presenting the information, so you don't want to turn people off because of the process? In the past, there's been some negativity with the voting process. I mean, this is a privilege to vote, and you're trying to be advocates for fair and equal, for voting and fair and equal information. Should never have to apologize for that. What you guys are doing is very noble.
It's a
but-
privilege, but it's also a
privilege.
responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it's a responsibility as a citizen to vote.
yeah.
Sometimes after an election, you wonder who won. I really wonder how many people got out and voted.
Right.
I mean, that's
That's a litmus test,
that
isn't it?
Yes, of our democracy.
Participation.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, not so much the political.
Right.
I don't disagree with you. We are the 27th is the Carter Center event. Then the forums come up. That's in. I think I'm getting right in the pecking order.
That's correct.
And the hotline, there's a number. If people have gone to vote411.org, but they still have questions, there's a hotline that you have.
For on election day, if you go to vote and you feel there's a problem or something that concerns you, you can call the voter hotline, which is 866.ROUR.vote. I'm sorry, not dot, dash vote. So OURVOTE.
OURVOTE.
Yes, and you'll reach somebody that you can talk to about whatever your issue is. And can I put in one last plug for poll workers? Do we have time?
You can host the show. I will sit there. You can take over. Yes, the answer, of course, is yes.
Okay, as a poll worker, I want to let people know that I think we have a responsibility not just to vote, but to make sure we have enough people who are willing to work as poll workers.
Yeah.
And the Board of Elections is asking for additional poll workers to vote on election to work on election day, November 8th. And I'm just going to read the precincts they still need poll workers for. This is DHR, which is Deep River, High Falls, and Ritter.
Right.
And then the other ones are East Aberdeen, Little River, Pine Bluff, Robbins, Taylortown, Vass, and West Aberdeen. And if you're interested in becoming a poll worker, you can reach out to the Board of Elections and talk to Anne Marie Brown. And she would love to hear from you, and she can tell you more about being a poll worker.
So you are actually short on volunteers.
They are short and are asking for more. And these are paid positions, by the way.
Are they really?
You're volunteering to serve as a poll worker, but you do get paid.
Wow. The expense of voting, it's very expensive. The whole process is so expensive. Hopefully I'm sure you're trying to streamline it each year and get better and more efficient as you go, but it's a big day. You guys have been very helpful. I mean, you've clarified a lot of things for me, because it's just one more bit of information that you need to process and digest so that you can go out and execute. I think so many people remember or think of the League of Women Voters, and they always associate them with the great debates that are sponsored, national debates, right? But the League of Women Voters, their true value is on a local level, to get the local candidates out, because as you said, those are the local, all politics is local.
That's right.
And we live in a great community, and people who live here love to be here, and they're prideful of Moore County. So getting out to vote would be the smartest thing to do to try to protect their interests. Holly, thank you so much for coming, and Marcey, thank you, and Shirley.
My pleasure, thank you.
Yeah, your dedication and your passion is very obvious. I hope it's a smooth process this year, and people are, and again, the report card is, what's the voter turnout?
That's right.
That's it, facts. That's all she kept saying. Here are facts. Means no drama.
We can also tell how many people look at Vote 411 and how many times they log on to it.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. So we'll be looking for hits.
You're going to see Bill Sahadi, Bill Sahadi, Bill Sahadi the whole time. Oh my God, this guy will not leave us alone.
We don't identify individuals, but we can tell.
Oh, by the number?
We can tell the number.
Okay. The League of Women Voters of Moore County, they serve a great purpose, and I hope people go to vote411.org, prepare themselves. We have plenty of time. It was a pleasure to have all three of you on.
And we hope everybody goes to vote.
Yes, please vote.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great week. Thank you.